listening to the One Idjit's Thoughts On podcast. I'm Paul Mackey. Darcy and I had our anniversary date at Pedro's of Superior as we were craving Mexican food. We decided to have some adult beverage instead of me driving all night doing Lyft. We had the thought of seeing Superman, but it was only showing twice, one screening far too close to the time that we thought of it, and one almost at 10 at night. So we wound up at home and watched the first 3 episodes of Resident Alien just for fun. No note-taking for future podcast episodes. 3 episodes pretty much counts as a binge watch at our house, but I'm hoping we get back to it and it doesn't end up as one more series that I liked as I started but never got back to. Speaking of those, after Darcy was done for the night, I found out that the New Zealand-produced Almighty Johnsons, which I had only seen a single episode of before, was on Tubi now, so I braved the advertising and watched 3 episodes of that too. I hear that both of these shows had relatively satisfying endings, though the latter one had hoped for a 4th season. Word is that they did wrap up on a satisfying note, so I hope to see the rest at some point. And, of course, get back into all the shows that I'm doing for this podcast as well. Meanwhile, this is the time of the Dog Days of Podcasting Challenge 2025. If you just happened by this episode, I don't know how you did that. But if you go to dogdaysofpodcasting.com, you can hear fiction, commentary, music, comedy, and a slice of life from the sea. From Me-Me del Mare, actual woman of the sea, the bathtub mermaid, who may be having a sea salt caramel cake or other reef refreshments as she celebrates another birthday today. Now, I suppose it would be best if I return to my lane, so here are the trivia, answers, and questions of the day. A speedy question, and another one with asses. Right, welcome back to the Dog Days of Trivia on One Idjit's Thoughts On podcast. This is Paul Mackey, and I'm presenting to you yesterday's answers. All right, one of my favorites from 1986, a single with an organ. Check out that organ. The organ solo that doesn't seem to be named as a Hammond organ anywhere, but everybody seems to agree is a Hammond organ. The founding members come from New Zealand, but founded the band in Melbourne, Australia, so it was ranked the number 2 New Zealand single of all time and the number 7 Australian single of all time, both by the Australasian Performing Rights Association. Naming the band and single? It's Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House. It could have been a hot number 2 also, as it peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart the last week of April 1987, held back by George Michael and Aretha Franklin duetting on I Knew You Were Waiting. It hit number 1 on the Canadian RPM chart and the New Zealand National chart as well. And that other hot number 2 question, in October 1986, after spending most of 1985 on side projects, Duran Duran released a song that represented a change in members and in sound. The subsequently released album of the same name didn't necessarily sell as well as their previous ones, but some still consider it a biggie. If you can't name this album and its title track, I may begin to doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion. This song is Notorious. And album. The title track was later sampled for the song Notorious B.I.G. by Notorious B.I.G. and was used in the film Donnie Darko as the dance track for the group Sparkle Motion in the film. And those were the answers from yesterday. Hope you got some good points. Now into the questions for today. In 1986, a band released a self-titled LP which had 2 singles that each peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Crush on You and You Got It All. Both songs were sung by a then 13-year-old girl. The band was discovered in a Sheraton hotel lounge in a Minneapolis suburb and originally hail from the island of Tonga. Quick, what is this band? And then our second installment of the music industry is full of asses. Hopefully you remember the answer to the previous one and how that category works. Depeche Mode released a live album and concert film, both called 101 in 1989, based on their tour for What 1987 album. And those are the questions of the day. This is the Dog Days of Trivia on the One Idjit's Thoughts On podcast, and I wish you happy hunting.